Hey, it's FYF Sports, man. We back with another video, man. Today's just a quick video, quick PSA, man. I was asked to do this video to help people understand just a little bit about basketball and why this particular point guard is experiencing so many difficulties in the NBA thus far in his career. But before we get into that really quick, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can be in tune and up to date with every single video that we drop. Again, we drop all types of content spanning from entertainment to reactions to sports. So again, if you don't want to miss those videos, make sure you hit that notification bell. And once you hit that notification bell, hey man, you're a FYF member. Hey, roll to 10K. Hey, we're almost there. I mean, we're inching closer and closer. You know, almost every hour it looks like we gain a few subscribers. So again, we appreciate everyone who's a subscriber now. That only happens when you guys share our content. And again, we appreciate that, sharing our content, engaging, helping us rank up higher on YouTube. Again, all of those things are appreciated as we try to grow on YouTube. But today we got to talk really quickly about Lonzo Ball, man. And then the big question mark is what's going on with Lonzo Ball? Why has he been struggling so much in the NBA playoff bubble, especially with the way he was playing prior to the pandemic? I mean, he was going on about a 10-game stretch of just playing all-star level basketball, putting up big, not just big scoring numbers, but just big all-around numbers. Great on both ends of the court. So with 4 months off, everybody back, we're playing basketball in the bubble in Orlando. We've seen Lonzo Ball for about 4 games now, and he's struggled to find his shot. He struggled to find consistency. He struggled to stay out of foul trouble. There's been a number of things going on that have affected Lonzo Ball's productivity on the court. Just by me watching the games, the number one thing that I see, my number one critique of Lonzo Ball has to be his confidence. It looks like the man has lost all confidence in his jump shot. He's not shooting it with confidence. He's hesitating a lot. He's passing up open shots, second guessing himself. And again, all of the problems that we see with Lonzo Ball, these are all mental issues. And when you're dealing with a player at this caliber, at this level of play, usually when there are mental roadblocks, or usually when there are mental issues affecting your game, it's typically coaching. I would love to see Alvin Gentry open this offense up a little bit more. It looks like he's trying to run too many set plays, too many ISO plays for Brandon Ingram, too many ISO plays for Jrue Holiday, as opposed to having just a free-flowing offense where everyone can touch the ball and anyone can score on any given possession. And I know that's extremely difficult to do, especially when you have a scorer at the level of Brandon Ingram. But when you're looking at a team like the New Orleans Pelicans with so many offensive weapons such as Zion Williamson, we got Josh Hart coming off the bench. We got Nico Melli, a shooter who sometimes starts. We got Jackson Hayes, a promising big. We got Derek Favors who can hit the mid-range or score on the low block. Obviously, we got Zion who can dominate anywhere on the court. And we got Brandon Ingram. Again, we got weapons everywhere. And I haven't even mentioned J.J. Redick, an elite three-point shooter. So I think the style of play, this is the style of play that's almost very stagnant for a team like this. A team like this should be out in transition a lot more. I think their pace of play should mirror that of the Houston Rockets, but they slow the game down too much. And when you slow the game down, you're putting the ball in Jrue Holiday's hands. What you're doing is you're essentially turning Lonzo Ball into a spot-up shooter, which was essentially the same role that he had when he was playing alongside LeBron James. We know that he cannot excel. He's not extremely effective off ball because of his ineffectiveness, or at least his inability to consistently hit the three-point shot. And again, that's affected his overall confidence. So I think Alvin Gentry needs to find a way to consistently keep Lonzo Ball on the ball and attacking. as long as he's attacking and attacking with purpose and attacking with confidence, he is one of the most dangerous players in the NBA. And again, the one thing that's consistent with him has been his defensive effort. Now, in the bubble, I've been a big critic of the ref and the reffing. They've been calling these games extremely tight, so aggressive defenders have been getting punished. Defenders like Giannis, Lonzo, they found themselves in foul trouble in a lot of these games simply because they're just more aggressive on defense. So I get that's something that you can't really control. Foul trouble, you just have to you have to find a way to adjust your game to the way the refs are reffing the game, and that's just part of basketball. On any level, refs at all levels ref the game differently, and you just have to adjust. So that's not necessarily an excuse, but you have to find a way to be effective. And again, this is another critique of Lonzo Ball. You have to find a way to be effective on the court if your jump shot's not falling. And I feel as if Lonzo Ball's energy and effort comes and goes with his jump shot, and that should not be the case. When we look at players like Ben Simmons, we see that Ben Simmons, his jump shot is highly inconsistent, but he finds ways to be effective all over the court, and not just be effective defensively. He's effective offensively, finding ways to get others involved, finding ways to attack, finding ways to open the core up and open up spacing for other players on the court. So I wish Lonzo Ball would just take a page out of the Ben Simmons book. Obviously, they're both dealing with that mental roadblock of just finding their shot in NBA games and in NBA action. And sometimes for some players, that's just something that takes time. For Lonzo Ball, it looks like this is something that's going to take time. We know that he can be a great shooter. We know that he could be a solid shooter. Again, it's all about mentality. And I wish that Alvin Gentry will open his offense up a bit more and give him a little bit more freedom with the ball, because I just see him being too passive too many times. On fast breaks, I would like to see Lonzo Ball keep the ball more as opposed to just pushing it up to others. Because a lot of times with this New Orleans Pelican team, and this has been consistent over the last 5 years or so, they've played a very selfish brand of basketball. So when that ball leaves Lonzo Ball's hands, it typically never finds its way back to him. So the ball loses energy, the ball gets stuck with one-on-one ISO players, and it turns effective playmakers like Lonzo Ball into corner three-point shooters, and we know that's not his strong suit at this point in time. So if I was Alvin Gentry, especially going into this offseason, I would work on implementing a free-flowing style of offense that implements moving the ball more and allows everyone to be a part of the offense, as opposed to just always going to ISO plays to Brandon Ingram or Drew Holiday. And that's what it looks like they run time and time again. And we find a lot of players on this Pelican team going hot and cold, primarily Lonzo Ball. We see the same thing with Frank Jackson, and we see the same thing with just, even Nico Melli and some of their other shooters. We've seen Derek Favors have big games this year, but, especially in all the games in the bubble, Derek Favors has struggled to find his game, primarily because he's just not getting enough touches down low, or just in his sweet spot at the elbow, at the free throw elbow. So again, I think there is a bit of selfishness in this team. I think we have guys who are playing for contracts, who are kind of playing for themselves, and it just kind of shows, especially in that Clippers loss. What we saw in that Clippers loss, we just saw extremely selfish basketball. I think a lot of the players carried over grudges. They definitely carried over grudges from the prior game when they played the Jazz and they watched Alvin Gentry sit Zion Williamson towards the end of that game. That move alone essentially cost them the game. And all those players knew if they'd have had their top 5 players in the game along with Zion Williamson, that's a game that they finish out. That's a game that they win. So again, when you're dealing with a young team like this, coaches have to find ways not to shatter that team's confidence, not to get into their head. Allow them to play their game, even if it means sitting Zion early in the second half, so you have him late in games. Make sure that at the end of games, you can have your best 5 out there. This is what energizes young teams. This is what keeps them happy. This is what keeps them playing hard for you. And so Alvin Gentry definitely needs to be careful with this team, because with the young team, with all the excitement that can come with having a young team, you can definitely lose your voice within the locker room, and you can lose your team entirely. And I think slowly we're watching a team fall away from the coach, and his voice is becoming more and more ineffective in the locker room. So again, just based on what I've seen in my evaluation of Lonzo Ball's game, yes, he hasn't been playing his best brand of basketball over these last few games, but at the end of the day, it's only a few games, and a lot of people want to judge him off this stretch. And this is what I don't like about how people critique Lonzo Ball. In the stretches where he actually plays well, he never gets credit, but in the stretches where he plays bad, he takes all the brunt of the blame, and he's a bust. And so I think it's just an unfair criticism of his game. I think it's unfair. I think we need to look at the positives that come out of his game as well, but then also not be biased and mention the negatives as I've done. So Lonzo Ball is still definitely a promising point guard in the league. He's heading into a contract year where he will be a restricted free agent. I expect the New Orleans Pelicans to re-sign him or to match any offers that are offered to him. And if they let him walk for nothing, and again, this is something that's not going to happen in the NBA. They're not going to let Lonzo Ball walk for nothing. They will re-sign him, and if he's the player that they don't want to keep, they'll just sign him and then trade him away. But as it stands right now, he's probably the best playmaker that you compare with Zion Williamson. And I think we haven't seen the best of Lonzo Ball because we haven't seen the best of Zion Williamson. And when Zion Williamson was playing at full strength and healthy, we saw the best of both of those players and how dangerous that combination could be in the NBA. But again, this is just my breakdown. I just wanted to break that down really quick. Just my quick oversight of how I felt about Lonzo Ball's games. Again, Lonzo, man, if you're hearing this, man, definitely find a way to change that mentality. You got to get in the attack boat just a little bit more. You got to dominate that and take over that offense just a little bit more. Because again, if you're going to be the point guard of the future in the NBA, again, this is the hardest position. This is the hardest position to understand and to get a grasp on. So you have to, these are all growing pains now. But you're not going to learn by moving that ball and swinging it to ball-dominant players like Drew Holiday and Brandon Ingram. Again, sometimes you will need to pass it up to these guys, but other times we need to run this offense, and we need to run it through the best playmaker on the court, which is Lonzo Ball. All right, so this is my breakdown of Lonzo Ball. You guys let me know what you think. I know a lot of you guys are criticize Lonzo Ball heavily. Let me know in the comments how you feel. Let me know how you feel about this breakdown. And again, I would love to bring any subscriber onto the show to discuss this. And when I look at players like Lonzo Ball, I'm always looking long term and not necessarily short term. This is not a championship team right now. They're still some years away from that. So again, there's plenty of time to see development in their games. But another great episode. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate all the support. Grinding to 10K. We're almost about there. Cannot wait till we're there. Once we hit 10K, the merch will drop. And when the merch drops, I'm sure you guys will not be surprised at all. It's great merch, great quality, great prices, great everything. So again, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can stay in tune with all of the great events that we have coming here with FYF Sports. All right, another great episode, FYF Sports, and we're out.